Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glow with youth, even when the calendar says otherwise? Why do they carry a kind of ageless radiance that can't be traced to skincare routines or gym schedules? What if the reason you appear younger than your age isn't just about genetics, but something far more mysterious, something spiritual? What if your outer glow is just a reflection of an inner evolution that most people never talk about? There is something quietly sacred about those who seem to defy time. They don't chase youth, they don't resist age, yet somehow they radiate a freshness of spirit that draws others in. Their laughter has depth, not just volume. Their eyes shine not because they are free of pain, but because they've made peace with it. And if someone has ever told you, "You look so young," it might be more than a compliment. It might be the universe pointing to something deeper within you that refuses to be worn down by the weight of the world. In Jungian psychology, the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. So when your face reflects lightness, your body vibrates with peace, and your aura feels calm yet alive, it is not accidental. It is the result of years, sometimes lifetimes, of inner alignment. You've probably walked through fire without losing your softness. You've faced heartbreak without closing your heart. You've lived through chaos without letting it shape your soul. That kind of resilience has an energy, and energy doesn't lie. It shows up in your presence, in the way you carry yourself, in the youth that lingers around your smile. But here's the part most people don't realize. This youthful appearance is not about escaping aging. It's about transcending the emotional weight that ages most people from the inside out. It's about shedding layers of bitterness, stress, and unconscious patterns, and allowing your true essence to breathe again. Your glow is not skin deep, it is soul deep. And that makes it magnetic. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, "Why do I still feel so alive?" Or if others have whispered, "You haven't changed a bit," this message is for you. You're not clinging to the past. You've simply been living in alignment with something timeless within yourself. In this video, we'll explore the hidden emotional habits, spiritual practices, and inner traits that are quietly keeping you young. On the outside, yes, but more importantly, on the inside. So take a moment. Pause the noise around you. Tune in to that silent current within. You're about to discover that the truth behind your youthful glow isn't a secret to be chased. It's a truth to be remembered. Let's begin. What if your youthful glow isn't in your skin, but in your spirit's refusal to harden? In a world that constantly demands we toughen up, fight back, and stay on guard, what happens to the body when the soul quietly chooses a different path? As we age, life often teaches us that protection means tension, that survival means control, and that growing older means growing colder. But some people, maybe you don't carry the weight of time the same way. You don't wrinkle with bitterness. You don't stiffen with resistance. Instead, you flow, you reflect, you soften. And that softness is not weakness. It is the radiant signature of a spirit that has transcended the need for constant defense. Carl Jung believed that the body mirrors the psyche, and when the psyche matures in a healthy way, through individuation, shadow integration, and inner harmony, it begins to shed what no longer serves it. What if the reason you look younger is that you've stopped resisting life? Because you've stopped trying to force outcomes and instead surrendered to the deeper rhythms of the soul? You may not realize it, but that serenity you carry might be the very thing that's making you ageless, not in the sense of denying time, but in the sense of not being ruled by it. Youthfulness then becomes less about collagen and more about consciousness, less about products and more about presence. Think about how much aging is accelerated by stress, anxiety, guilt, shame, and the pressure to be someone you're not. These emotional burdens carve themselves into our faces, stiffen our posture, dull our eyes. But when you start doing the inner work, forgiving, letting go, releasing old patterns, something remarkable happens. Your body begins to heal with you. Your face relaxes. Your energy lightens. You laugh more, sleep deeper, and people start saying things like, "You haven't aged a bit." Is it magic? Or is it the result of years spent choosing peace over pressure, choosing reflection over reaction? Jung taught that when we begin to integrate our unconscious, when we bring the shadow into the light, the psyche reorganizes itself. And when the psyche reorganizes, the body follows. Harmony inside begets harmony outside. So if you're someone who's spent years healing childhood wounds, confronting inner demons, or simply choosing to be honest with yourself, your youthful appearance may be a direct reflection of that journey. You've stopped feeding the mask and started nurturing the soul. And that choice, subtle, private, deeply personal, shows up in how you walk, how you speak, and yes, how you look. So let me ask you, have you noticed that the more emotionally honest you become, the lighter your energy feels? Have you ever looked at an old picture and realized you look younger now, not because of better lighting, but because of deeper healing? Have you sensed that your softness is your strength, that your refusal to become hard, bitter, or cynical has actually preserved your light? If so, you're not alone. And you're not imagining it, because the soul, when free, glows. And when the soul glows, the world sees it in your face, your voice, your presence. Maybe this is what Jung meant when he said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Maybe you've been awakening all along. Why is it that some people go through heartbreak, disappointment, even betrayal, yet still walk into a room with a lightness that's almost otherworldly? It's not because they haven't suffered. It's because they've learned the sacred art of feeling everything without becoming it. In a world where emotional pain often leaves permanent imprints on the face and body, there are rare souls who experience deeply and still glow gently from within. They cry when no one is watching. They grieve in silence. But they don't let their suffering harden them or turn into bitterness. And that invisible emotional hygiene, Jung would say, is the silent healer behind their youthful aura. Carl Jung believed that emotions, when left unprocessed, embed themselves into the psyche and then into the body. He called them autonomous complexes, unconscious pockets of pain that, over time, control how we react, how we perceive, and yes, how we age. The person who holds on to anger unconsciously tightens their jaw. The one who suppresses grief often carries it in their chest or shoulders. But the one who allows their feelings to flow, who feels without clinging, who weeps without shame, liberates the soul from inner contraction. Their energy moves, their face softens, their presence becomes less reactive, more receptive. And in that flow, something subtle yet powerful happens. They stay emotionally young. You might have noticed it in yourself. You've been through things most people wouldn't guess just by looking at you. You've lost people. You've carried burdens. And yet, people say you have a light spirit, or a calming presence. That's not luck. That's emotional mastery. You've learned how to carry the lesson, not the wound. And in Jungian terms, that's the beginning of individuation, the process of becoming whole. You no longer repress your shadow, nor do you let it rule you. Instead, you integrate it, feel it, make peace with it. And that integration shows not in the loudness of your voice, but in the softness of your energy. Many people confuse feeling deeply with falling apart. But what if the real power is in feeling fully, then releasing, without shame, what was never meant to stay? What if the secret to your radiance is not avoiding pain, but facing it so honestly that it loses its grip on you? Most people walk around carrying the weight of emotions they never gave themselves permission to feel, but you, perhaps unconsciously, gave yourself that permission. You chose to heal instead of hide. And in that choice, you preserved something rare, your emotional aliveness. So let me ask you, when was the last time you sat with your sadness, not to fix it, but to honor it? When did you last allow yourself to feel without needing to explain or perform? Could it be that your youthful glow is less about what you do and more about what you've learned to release? Could it be that real beauty, real vitality, is a byproduct of emotional freedom? In a society obsessed with anti-aging creams and external fixes, maybe the deepest rejuvenation happens inside. Maybe the real fountain of youth is emotional honesty. And maybe, just maybe, your face looks young because your soul is no longer at war with itself. Have you ever noticed how heavy your body feels after spending time with someone who constantly complains or plays the victim? It's not just in your head. The weight of other people's unresolved emotions can quietly begin to live inside your nervous system if you're not careful. And those who appear younger than their age often share one rare trait. They know how to stop themselves from carrying burdens that don't belong to them. In a world where many people are praised for self-sacrifice, it takes real strength to say, "This pain isn't mine to hold." You may have been raised to be the fixer, the peacemaker, the one who absorbs tension in the room so others don't have to. But over time, that emotional labor leaves invisible scars. Chronic stress, internalized guilt, and repressed anger all age the body from the inside. Carl Jung taught that what we refuse to make conscious will haunt us from the unconscious. And too often, what we carry unconsciously are the emotions, projections, and unhealed wounds of other people. But there comes a moment in healing when you realize that compassion does not mean martyrdom. You can deeply care for others without making their chaos your identity. You can listen without absorbing. You can support without saving. You can walk beside someone without dragging their shadow into your own psyche. And when you begin doing this, something shifts. The tension in your chest loosens, your face relaxes, your sleep deepens, your energy feels lighter. It's not just emotional freedom, it's physiological renewal. This is why people who protect their boundaries tend to look radiant. Not because they're cold, but because they've learned the sacred difference between empathy and self-abandonment. They stop saying yes just to be liked. They stop rescuing people who are addicted to their own suffering. They stop confusing love with responsibility. And in that space of clarity, their nervous system begins to heal. Their cells regenerate without the constant spike of cortisol that comes from emotional entanglement. So ask yourself, what have you been carrying that isn't yours? Whose shame, whose sadness, whose expectations have you absorbed into your skin? What would happen if you finally put that down, not with guilt, but with grace? What if healing doesn't just mean forgiving others, but returning their energy back to them with love and choosing peace for yourself? Looking young isn't always about what you eat or how much you exercise. Sometimes it's about how little weight you carry that was never meant to be yours. True beauty lives in the body that has learned to rest, and rest, in its purest form, begins when you release what was never your responsibility to hold. Have you ever noticed how people who remain curious seem to glow from within, no matter their age. There's something mysteriously youthful about those who never stop learning, asking questions, and evolving. While others may grow rigid with age, stuck in their ways, closed off to new ideas, those who stay open carry a spark that's hard to define. Curiosity, in many ways, is the soul's resistance to stagnation. It is a subtle rebellion against emotional decay. And in Jungian terms, it is the instinctual drive toward individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole. We live in a world where aging is often associated with decline, a decline in energy, in openness, in the desire to stretch beyond what is familiar. But what if aging didn't have to mean becoming stuck? What if growing older could mean growing deeper? The truth is, many people unconsciously abandon their inner growth journey after a certain point. They choose certainty over curiosity, comfort over courage. But people who appear younger than their age often do the opposite. They remain seekers. They don't claim to have life all figured out. Instead, they allow life to keep surprising them, humbling them, and expanding them. Carl Jung believed that the second half of life is where the real psychological work begins. In youth, we build our ego, but in maturity, we're invited to go inward, to meet the shadow, to integrate the parts of ourselves we once ignored. This requires curiosity. It takes humility to say, "There's more to me than I've yet discovered." People who age beautifully are often those who don't hide behind rigid identities. They don't cling to outdated beliefs. They allow life to strip away what is no longer true and replace it with something more honest. They evolve, and in doing so, they stay alive, not just physically, but spiritually. Think of someone you know who is constantly learning something new, reading, creating, exploring different perspectives. Isn't there something light about them? Something fresh in the way they carry themselves? They haven't allowed their spirit to harden. They haven't let time close the doors of their mind. And this softness, this curiosity becomes a shield against the heaviness that often ages us before our time. When the mind is open, the body feels less burdened. When the heart is engaged, the eyes remain bright. So the question becomes, when did you stop letting life teach you? When did you start assuming there was nothing left to uncover about yourself, about others, about this world? The moment we lose curiosity, we begin to age, not just in appearance, but in essence. But when we return to that childlike wonder, something magical happens. We invite life back in. We allow our souls to breathe again. And maybe, just maybe, that inner vitality becomes visible to everyone around us. Because looking young isn't just about good genes or perfect skin. It's about the energy you carry, the spirit you embody, the willingness to keep becoming. So stay curious, keep asking, keep listening. Let your openness be your glow. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how much of what weighs you down doesn't even belong to you? As we age, the real fatigue doesn't just come from what life throws at us, but from the invisible burdens we've been conditioned to carry, others' expectations, unresolved family pain, emotional guilt, cultural roles, and responsibilities we inherited but never questioned. And the truth is, many people who look older than they are have spent years dragging the emotional baggage of everyone else. They internalize others' chaos, shrink themselves to keep the peace, and confuse being helpful with being self-sacrificing. But something shifts when you finally realize, not every weight is yours to hold. Not every sadness you feel is your own. You begin to notice how much of your energy goes to emotional caretaking, to holding it all together for everyone else. You become aware of the invisible contracts you signed, being the strong one, the good daughter, the perfect partner, the one who never complains. And slowly, you begin to renegotiate. Because carrying what isn't yours doesn't make you noble, it makes you disappear. Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, the inherited psychological material passed down through generations, often without awareness. Much of what ages us emotionally is these deep psychic hand-me-downs, the unspoken traumas of our parents, the roles imposed by society, the expectations of who we should be. We become emotionally exhausted, not just from our own life, but from ancestral pain we never consented to carry. But when you become conscious of it, something incredible happens. You begin to individuate. You begin to differentiate between your true self and the self you perform for approval. This is what healing looks like at midlife and beyond. It is the sacred process of putting down what was never yours to begin with. It is no longer apologizing for choosing peace over chaos. It is stepping out of old roles that made your shoulders tight and your heart tired. It is reclaiming the emotional bandwidth you once gave away too easily. And when you do, your face softens, your posture changes, your energy becomes clearer. You glow not because life got easier, but because you are no longer at war with yourself. So ask yourself gently, what roles are aging you? What responsibilities have become emotional disguises for your true needs? What parts of yourself did you abandon to make others feel comfortable? When you live in alignment with your own emotional truth, the body listens. Your nervous system stops bracing. Your immune system responds. Your breath becomes deeper. This is not just spiritual talk, it's biological. When the soul feels safe, the body heals. And that safety begins the moment you stop carrying pain that was never yours to hold. In the end, youthfulness is not a miracle cream or a perfect routine. It's an energy, a decision, a boundary, a sacred remembering of who you were before the world told you who to be. Letting go is not a weakness. It is wisdom, and it is one of the most powerful anti-aging rituals of all. What if your youthful glow isn't something you were lucky to keep, but something your soul chose to preserve? Not to chase vanity, but to protect the softness, depth, and spiritual radiance you've earned. Because real youth is not just skin deep. It is the byproduct of an inner alignment, a quiet, sacred harmony between who you truly are and how fully you allow yourself to live. And that's why some people age but never grow old. Their spirit resists the heaviness of bitterness. Their eyes still see light in dark places. Their hearts still break, but they break open. This kind of youth is not a refusal to grow up, but a refusal to shut down. Carl Jung believed that when we truly individuate, when we break away from the masks we've worn and the expectations we've carried, we return to something essential, something childlike, yet deeply evolved. In his words, the process of self-realization leads us not away from life, but into it. And perhaps that is the real secret behind your timeless presence. You are becoming more real, not less. You've stopped performing. You've stopped pleasing. You've stopped pretending to be anything other than what your soul is asking you to be. And in doing so, you've returned to your natural state, a state of vibrancy, of peace, of radiance. So why do people say you look so young? It's because they can feel the energy behind your eyes. They sense that you carry less judgment, more wonder, less resistance, more flow. You're not weighed down by the world in the same way anymore. Instead of tightening your grip, you've learned to open your hands. Instead of closing off, you've let life move through you. And your body, your aura, your energy, all of it reflects that shift. You've become a living contradiction in the best possible way. Grounded but light, wise but playful, calm but passionate. And it shows. In your laugh, in your silence, in the way you hold eye contact without fear or force. You don't just look young, you carry the emotional and spiritual blueprint of someone who has returned to themselves. So perhaps the final truth is this: the more you live in integrity with your soul, the more your body reflects that honesty. The more peace you find within, the more beauty shows without. And the more you heal, the more your cells remember what it feels like to feel alive. Maybe that's the real elixir of youth, not a product, not a secret, but a path, a way of being, a devotion to living with softness, with courage, with presence. And now we turn to you. Which of these 9 truths echoed something inside you? Which one reminded you of who you really are beneath the surface of your age? Drop a comment below. Your story might be the reminder someone else needs today. And if you felt something move in you during this video, give it a like, subscribe, and let's keep walking this path of depth, healing, and inner glow together. You're not just aging gracefully, you're aging truthfully. And that's what makes you glow. Stay radiant. We'll see you in the next one. If this touched something sacred inside you, don't let it fade into silence. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your presence here is not just support, it's resonance. And if you feel moved to give back, your donation becomes a quiet but powerful gesture that helps keep this light alive for others still walking in the dark.